sorry if the audio in this episode's a little bit wonky, but from what I've seen so far, it's actually not too bad. It seems to correct itself pretty often. But man, my recorder is so weird. Especially with all the lossless codecs I have now. And yes, I was able to get Jasmine recorded. And I'm sorry if this playthrough is going a little bit slowly, but I mean it's still going, but it's going a little bit slow because unlike Rockman 4 minus Infinity or the Sonic series that I'm doing right now, this requires a lot more work. And here has got to be the best example of why the anime is so horrible. And how do you know if you wrote it? And here's the... Look at that logic! So, you trespass onto a girl's, dormitory. Let's see. A digital note. Yes, it definitely looks like I could have written it. Because, you know, I can totally tell my digital, penmanship. Tell you what, I'll forget all this happened if you duel me. What kind of logic is that? And it's not just here, too. It's everywhere in the series. Holy cow, is it in the series. The world is about to end. Duel me! I will take over the world, but first, I must duel. And the games don't get much better with that. I'm the guardian of the cards, has the ability to destroy the world. Duel me! Did I mention dueling? So by the way, dueling! And it's this match that caused me to make this segment into 2 parts. It's because this duel dragged on, but unlike the last duels, this one was actually very exciting. Well, not right now, but definitely later on you'll see it. Now, I mentioned last episode that I have a lot of PS2 memories, and it makes sense, because the PS2 is what I got introduced to video games by. It all started, on my family's big vacation of, I think it was '03. The point was, this was a long time ago. Like, almost a decade now. Almost a decade, jeez. Anyway. And what happened was, we were going on a long trip, so we stopped by my aunt, and she gave us every movie. One of my aunts, and she gave us every movie ever made. Well, you get my point. This is the same side of the family that has almost every video game ever made, so who am I to judge? So as I was saying, everything else ever made. And what we also got was from a friend of my sister's was a PS2, and with it a whole bunch of PS1 games. And trust me, even though I didn't get to play it much because we didn't know how to hook it up to our in-van TV, although we did later, I got quite a bit of play from that. Well, whenever I could. The problem was, since we were always driving around, what ended up happening was that anytime we could stop at a hotel, I would be allowed some playtime on the big TV. And that wasn't very often. Now, it was about here, it was around this time that I found out that my sister, who was 6 years older than me, actually liked only one of the games, really. It was the Crash Bandicoot series. More on that later. So, you know, I played that and it was fun. Then when the trip was over, that friend was nice enough to allow us to keep the PS2 for a little while, so I again, played it to death, and made sure I got as much time with it as I could. Well, all that's said and done, and we finally give it back, and I'm saddened, even though I had been like almost all the PS1 games. And Captain Falcon, no. And I sang and a lot, but I'm trying to transition here, people. It's not like you want me to say, and that's when I died. No. So, we returned the PS2, and I'm saddened. And so, next Christmas, guess what I get? A PS2. But not just that, my first PS2 games. Hooray! So, the first PS2 games I can remember pretty well are Crash Bandicoot, Cortex's Revenge, Spyro the Dragon. I don't remember what the subtitle was, but it's not the original one. It was a PS2 game. And I did get Spider-Man 2 eventually, but that's getting further in. What I do remember was that for most of the time, I never even... I played the games, but not as much as I did the PS1 games. And then I tried getting the PS1 games, but I couldn't find any of them, and I couldn't remember most of them, and so those are kind of gone now. No, sad, because those are some fun games. Now, as I mentioned before, thanks to the interesting little video game renting thing that my parents could use, I was able to play a lot of PS2 games by renting, but I never really got to keep them. And so, with that, I don't know why I'm doing so horrible with transitioning sentences and keeping up and all that. I'm sorry, people. I'm trying. So as I was saying, with my PS2 memories, the two games I remember the most from all those times I rented was definitely Spider-Man 2 for PS2 and Duels of the Roses, but I've already explained Duels of the Roses. Spider-Man 2 was a really, really odd game for me. I was able to play most of it just fine. What ended up happening was, I just couldn't get past the Mysterio, saga. And so I went online. I'd already gotten used to using cheat codes at this point. I never, ever, ever cared about using cheats or whatever. Just never. And I went into trying to input this one code that completed the whole game. That didn't end up happening. What did end up happening was, first off, the game's storyline got completely messed up, and then instead of the missions, like, it's like, hey, get this move, or hey, do this major storyline event, all it had was one mission, and it said, earn 50,000 points to win the game. I was really confused by this, but, well, I don't even remember if it was 50,000 points. It was this gigantic number that it takes a while to get to. But I persevered with it, and the game just kind of ended. It was a very weird thing for me, but that's how... I don't even know what saying is. I was like, that's how the cookie cuts? I don't know. I don't know any saying. I like how I keep on looking at everything, because because I wasn't used to the A-Forces stuff. Now, what was funny was that I did the first few games I got, for the longest I didn't play them. Then just out of nowhere I decided to pick up and I was able to complete them. Not 100% them necessarily, but definitely to complete them. And it was fun. I mean, it gave me a sense of accomplishment and all that. And a close attachment to what seems to be some not very liked games. I've heard that Crash Bandicoot Cortex's Revenge, or whatever the heck it's called, wasn't considered very good, but both me and my sister, yes, she never really ended up playing it much, but when she did get into video games, it was just that. It was because we had a Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 with us, none of which I was able to complete because, some of the things that you have to do in those games. And that doesn't seem to be considered a very good game, but I thought it was fun. I mean, I had played the originals, and personally, I don't really like the originals too much. Probably because I haven't fully completed them. I may just have another Sonic the Hedgehog thing going on. But from what I have seen, I haven't seen a lot. I mean, it doesn't seem like the first few Crash Bandicoot games have aged that well. Now I'm probably gonna get a bunch of haters to be like, Crash Bandicoot is awesome, I don't know what you're talking about, don't touch my childhood, dang it! And yeah, the problem is I don't get any bad commenters because I get like 5 views at this current point. But you get my drift. Who knows, I may just like leave for college one day and then I look on my old YouTube and it's like, I remember those days, and then there'll be like 900,000 people subscribe to me. It's like, hey, where's the new videos? I'll be like, I'm in college, buddy, I can't do anything. Because unlike a lot of LPers, I plan on probably stopping around high school. I don't really have any more game plans to do anyway. I mean, I have the Sonic series, which is going swimmingly. I have this game, I have Rockman 4 Minus Infinity, and I am planning to do a random bosses and events only playthrough of Drayano's improved Hard Gold Soul Silver hack, but he's yet to really complete them yet. Now here's an event that explains everything. First off, who's watching? Okay, but really, if you go up here, you'll see there's this well, a dried well to be exact. And events screen aside, if you look, there's something shiny. It's a Jerry Beans man. Well, it's really a spirit. And that's how this game got its name. Oh my, now I can finally unload all the crap I have to say about the spirits. To give you a brief summary of what spirits do, Jane gives you a little bit more information, but I'll tell that as he gives the information out. Spirits are companions that you have that give you the card that they are. Jerry Beans Man is this example. And you level it up by summoning it, and when you get higher levels, you're allowed to get more copies of that card, and the different spirits have different effects, and getting them is a whole nother story. And this says that if you change them out, not now but later, they get tired and stuff, so by